Welcome to online English class. This is Ventures Level 2, Lesson 8, which starts on April 29th. This is part 3, so this is video number 3. In this video, we're going to review Units 4, 5, and 6 with practice from Unit 7. You are probably watching this video between April 29th and May 13th. This video was filmed on April 26th. Alright, so now we're starting Unit 4. Unit 4 is health. So in this picture, there's a lot of people with injuries. And remember, an injury is when you get hurt, when something is wrong. So an injury is broken bones. A sprained ankle is an injury. Oh, you can't see. A sprained ankle is an injury. A sprained hand, maybe, or a sprained wrist is an injury. So an injury can be painful. Painful is an adjective. It means it hurts a lot. So an injury can be painful. An injury can also be serious. If an injury is serious, then it's really bad. So remember, when something is serious, we can measure it from 1 to 10. If it's 1, then it's bad, but it's okay. On 10, it's really, really bad. And somewhere in the middle, it's bad. So, serious. If it's very serious, we say on a scale of 1 to 10, if it's very serious, it's closer to 10. If it's mild, it's closer to 0. It's closer to 1. So this is a scale from 1 to 10. 1 is mild, it's just a little serious. 10 is very serious. It hurts a lot or you're bleeding a lot. Serious is an adjective. So, how many syllables are in the word serious? Serious. There are 3 syllables in the word serious. Serious. So when we compare two things, we say more serious. We say more serious because serious has 3 syllables. When we're comparing 3 or more things, we say the most serious. So let's look at the problems here. Let's see, we have someone with a headache. If someone has a headache, it's not very serious. So from 1 to 10, maybe it's a 2. Maybe it's a 2. If someone has a sprained ankle, that's kind of bad, but they're still okay. So from a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 5. So it's more serious. I think a sprained ankle is more serious than a headache. A sprained ankle is more serious than a headache. Broken bones. Broken bones, I say that's very serious. I say that's 10. 10 out of 10, very serious, is broken bones. So broken bones is the most serious. The most serious injury in this picture is the broken bones. Okay, in lesson B, we learn about should. If you should do something, then that means it's important. It's important you do something. So you can say you should go to the hospital. On the next page, we have 6 pictures about things you should or should not do. You should drink a lot of water. That's important, right? You shouldn't wear heavy clothes because then you get hot. You should take a break and relax so you have more energy. You should use a wet towel, okay? Sure. You should not stay in the sun for too long because you get hot. You should stay in the shade where it's cool. So, let's talk about hot and cool. If we're talking about one thing, we say hot. What about two things and three or more things? What do we say? For hot, we say hotter and the hottest. One thing we say hot, two things we say hotter, three or more things we say the hottest. Cool. You should stay in the shade where it's cool. Cool, cooler, the coolest. So, you should stay in the shade where it is cooler than in the sun. If you're in the sun, it is hotter. And then we learn about have to. If you have to do something, like you have to go to the doctor, this is something that is necessary. So, have to is more important. Or even the most important. Should is important. So you should go to the doctor. But when I say you have to, it's more important. It's the most important thing. Or you can say must. Must and have to are the same thing, really. They're the same. So when I say you have to take your medicine, it means it's really important. It's more important. It's the most important thing you can do. All right. So now we're going to work on Unit 5, Around Town. We're going to talk about scheduling and frequency. So in Unit 5, we learned how often and how long. So when I'm asking how often, I'm asking about the frequency. So how many times, really? How many times do you do something? Maybe every 30 minutes, every day, once a week, twice a month, 3 times a year. But when I ask how long, I want to know an amount of time, the duration. When I ask how long, I want to know about the duration. So maybe 5 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. So if I ask you, how often do you go to the airport? How often do you go to the airport? Maybe you go once a year or twice a year, or maybe you go every day. How long does it take? How long does it take to drive to the airport? Maybe 1 hour to drive to the airport? Me, I don't like driving, and I drive really slow, so it takes maybe an hour and 15 minutes. So I try not to go to the airport because I don't like driving to the airport. So when I say I do something a lot, I say I do it often. So let's say I go to the gym often. I go to the gym often. Or we can say I often go to the gym. I often go to the gym. It's the same thing. Okay? So, but I go to the gym often. Often. It's just me. I'm saying I'm going to the gym often. Or I can say more often. Or the most often. Often, more often, the most often. So let's say I go to the gym more often than I go to the store. I go to the gym more often than I go to the store. Here, we're comparing two things. We are comparing I go to the gym and I go to the store. And this is the comparing. Whoops. We say more often because often has two syllables. Often. I go to the gym more often than I go to the store. Now, if I say gym, store, and bank. So let's say in a week, I go to the gym 4 times. In a week, I go to the store 2 times. And in a week, I go to the bank 1 time. Now that I have 3 things, I say I go to the gym. I go to the gym the most often of these 3. I go to the gym the most often. So let's look at this bus schedule. We have buses going to different cities from Springfield. So we have from Springfield to New York, from Springfield to Boston, from Springfield to Capitol Airport, and from Springfield to Washington, D.C. So let's look at this. Which bus route has the most trips? Which bus route has the most trips? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So Springfield to Capitol Airport has the most trips. It leaves 5 times a day. The others leave 1, 2, 3, 4. So to New York and to Washington, D.C., they only leave 4 times a day. And to Boston only leaves 3 times a day. But to Capitol Airport, the bus leaves 5 times a day, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the bus goes 5 times a day. So the bus goes the most often to the Capitol Airport. This has the most trips. Now, which one of these is the longest trip? Which one of these is the longest bus ride? The longest bus ride. The duration here is 2.5 hours. The duration to the Capitol Airport is 1 hour and 20 minutes. The duration to Boston is 8 hours and 15 minutes. And the duration to Washington, D.C. is 3.5 hours. So, the trip from Springfield to Boston is the longest. This is the longest one at 8 hours and 15 minutes. That's a long time to be on a bus. Which is the shortest trip? Which is the shortest duration? The shortest duration is from Springfield to Capitol Airport for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Which route leaves the earliest? The first bus for each one. Which one is the earliest? Okay, so the first bus to New York leaves at 6:30 a.m. The first bus to Capitol Airport leaves at 5:30 a.m. The first bus to Boston leaves at 8. The first bus to DC leaves at 7:45. So the earliest one is Capitol Airport at 5:30 a.m. So this is the earliest route, the first one to start. Which route starts the latest, like the last one? Which one is the latest? The last bus to leave to New York is at 6:30 p.m. The last bus to leave for the Capitol Airport is at 6 p.m. The last bus to leave for Boston is at 11 a.m. And the last bus to leave to Washington, D.C. is at 1 p.m. So 6:30 is the latest, is the last bus to leave. This is the latest bus. Okay, so we have one thing, two things, and three or more things when we're comparing. So we have early, late, and soon. Early and soon mean the same thing. They're the same. So, early. How do we say early when we compare two things? Because early ends with the letter Y, we say earlier. We change Y to IER, earlier. When we're comparing three things, we say the earliest. Late. Late has one syllable, late. So we say later or the latest. Soon. Soon also has one syllable, soon. So we say sooner or we say the soonest. So now let's learn some expressions that people use a lot. So first let's start with ASAP. ASAP stands for as soon as possible. ASAP. ASAP stands for as soon as possible. So this means whenever you are available, do it right away. This is important. I need you to finish this quickly. So let's say my schedule is not recording. I hope that was recording because I'm not going to stop now. Okay, so my schedule. Let's say I wake up at 8. I wake up at 8. At 9, I start work. At 9, I start work. At 12 is lunch. And at 1, I work again. And then at 5, I go home. So this is my day. I wake up at 5, I work at 9, I have lunch at 12, and then I start work again at 1, and at 5 I go home. If I need to do something as soon as possible, then that means as soon as I start work, I do it right away at the beginning because this is really important, so I need to do it right away. As soon as possible, right away. As fast as I can. The earlier, the better. Yeah, let's do that one. The earlier, the better. The earlier, the better. This one is it's similar to ASAP. The earlier, the better means you need to do this soon, very fast, very early, because then it's good. The earlier, the better. So let's say you need to make reservations. Reservations for dinner on Valentine's Day. You need to make reservations for dinner on Valentine's Day. So everybody wants to have dinner at this restaurant on Valentine's Day. So if you call one day before, maybe there's no more tables. So you have to call the earlier, the better. The earlier you call, the better. So maybe you should call 1 week before or 2 weeks before, or maybe even 1 month before Valentine's Day, you should call and make a reservation. The sooner, the better, or the earlier, the better. It's the same. The sooner, the better, the earlier, the better. So if you have a reservation for Valentine's Day, if you want a reservation for Valentine's Day, you need to make the reservation 1 month before. The sooner the better. The earlier the better. Okay, next one. More often than not. Or more likely than not. More often than not and more likely than not. This means probably yes. Probably yes. So, I more often than not eat breakfast every day. Not always, not every day, but more often than not, I eat breakfast every day. More likely than not, I will eat breakfast tomorrow. I think I will, but maybe I will. I think yes, but I don't know for sure. More likely than not, more often than not, I will eat breakfast tomorrow. All right, that is the end of lesson 8. So remember to do the weekly checkup. You need to do the weekly checkup every week. So this is week 4, so you should be doing weekly checkup number 4. And when you finish the videos, tell me when you finish the lesson, okay? Tell me on the big group of text messages. I actually don't know your names in this. So tell me on there though. All right, thanks for watching.